guys, this is Callum from English Shooting and welcome back to the channel. Welcome also to my home office. Obviously with everything that's going on at the moment, I'm not at the unit and the gun room, trying to self-isolate as much as possible. Obviously with the few businesses that I run, there are some necessary travel involved in going and checking machinery, shipping out orders and maintaining just general running of the company. But I am getting a lot of questions at the moment specifically around what we can and can't do in terms of shooting during this period of stay at home and self-isolation. I want to make it perfectly clear from everything that I've seen and everything that I've read that in terms of sport shooting, in terms of recreational shooting, you should not be doing it. I've had to face palm multiple times after seeing many friends put all of the repeat stay at home, don't be an idiot sort of content on Facebook, and then the next day I see them down the clay ground. Going clay pigeon shooting right now is not needed, it is not essential. I know it feels like we need it. I'm sure many of you are getting cabin fever and have completed every jigsaw puzzle in the house, but it isn't necessary to your survival. We are effectively in survival mode at the moment. It may not be survival for you, but it is survival for the elderly, survival for the ill, the sick, and people with underlying health issues. It isn't about you. Let's just get that out of your head straight away. It might be hard missing out on what is great weather and what could have been a absolutely fantastic shooting season, but there are bigger things at play here. Where the biggest confusion comes in though is actually for hunting. Now, if it is again for recreation, do not go and do it. If it is not needed, don't go and do it. But there are some circumstances where hunting and pest control is absolutely required. What I would say to you is that if you have a permission, if you have a landowner that lets you shoot there, unless they are specifically calling out for you to go there and control pests, be that rats, foxes, pigeons, crows, whatever, do not go and do it. Get in contact with them at the very least and ask them, do you need me to come out and control any pests? And if they go, no, actually it's okay, yeah, there's a few pigeons in the sky, but the crops are okay, or the livestock are okay, you know, we're heading into lambing season, so, you know, it may be very well needed, or they might be getting by, they might already have a few other people that are doing it. There's no need for you to be out if it is not needed. There is the other argument as well, and I can completely understand this, that there are a lot of people going out and actually hunting for food, because that is part of their routine, that is how they survive. It's actually a lot better for the community and the nation as a whole, instead of going down to a crowded supermarket, queuing up and touching all the things that potentially hundreds of people have already touched. Going out to get a deer that is going to see you through quite a few weeks worth of meat on your own, that is a much more sensible decision. But unless you absolutely need to, unless your freezers are running dry, going out there just for the fun of it at the moment just would not be appropriate. So really do think before you go out, are you going out because you want to or because it is absolutely needed? And of course there are a number of professional hunters, professional pest controllers as well, and if people are calling them asking in need of some pest control or hunting, then of course go and do it, it is needed, but just don't go and do it for the fun. You may think that you're on your own, you're not going to bump into anybody, but you just don't know. You don't know what you are spreading, you don't know who you're going to come into contact with. And the best analogy that I've heard so far is it's not about thinking or being in the mindset of, you know, who's going to give it to me. Assume that you already have this COVID-19 virus. It has a 2-week delay in some cases where you have it, you're contagious, but you don't have any symptoms. And in that 2 weeks, you could end up infecting a lot of people. And you know, you could quite easily give it to somebody that's elderly or weak, you know, physically weak with health issues. You could be the reason that they don't make it through this. So really do take this very, very seriously. There are a number of things you can do at home. clean your guns for once. I know we hate to do it, but go and do it. Just fill the boredom with as much as possible. Get into reloading. You can still order bits online for reloading. So, you know, if you've always thought about doing it, do it now. If you've got all the reloading set up, well, reload up to your limits. There's a lot you can do, and I will be doing a specific video about shooting air guns in the garden and also shooting some BB guns in the garden, how you can set it up quite quickly, easily, cheaply, and most importantly safely to be able to shoot in the garden, so you can still get some trigger time in, even in a suburban area with neighbours that, you know, sort of surround you at all sides. So there we go, guys. I hope that does sort of clear everything up for you all. One thing that I did want to touch on is always a touchy subject when you talk about this with firearms, so I do want to specifically separate it from firearms, because in the UK for a Section 1 or Section 2 licence, the only justification is of course hunting, sport, or for collecting. So any other reasons, it is illegal, and do not get any ideas. But prepping, I know there is a synergy between the sort of outdoorsy people, be that hunting, fishing, shooting, whatever, and prepping. Very sort of I think it's the logical engineer brain of looking at every single eventuality and making sure that you're prepared for every eventuality. Now, normally when you say prepping, you think of the Netflix series, which is an absolute extreme. I'm not talking about going and building an underground bunker in your back garden, or even having 10,000 tins of baked beans or 2 years supply of fresh water. There are little things that everyone can do, which I would say is more than sensible, certainly in the current circumstances. We've heard, you know, news today that there could be power cuts. Are you prepared if there is a power cut or a blackout? Are your torches prepared? Even little things like that. Go and check your torches now, make sure they've got fresh batteries in them, make sure you know where they are, because trying to find a torch in the dark can be pretty frustrating. You know, make sure that your phone is constantly charged up. You've always got a torch on, well, most phones now have torches on them. Make sure that's always on you, and you've always got an instant light source. Tea candles, the you know, little candles, go and get a bulk bag of those, stuff them in a drawer so you know where they are. Things like that. That's being prepared. That's not being crazy or obsessive. That is being prepared for what is going to be a fairly likely outcome. A number of people that I know also have what they refer to as bug out bags. They're not necessarily for bug out. Bug out, again, is sort of like using tactical in a practical shooting scenario. It's not about bugging out. It's about having, you know, minimum supplies on you at all times. Again, it's happened many times in the UK where people have had to spend a night in their car for a variety of reasons. Having some, you know, energy bars in a bag with maybe a couple of bottles of water, some spare change of clothes, a change of shoes, a spare battery pack, a knife, you know, basic tools, things like that. You never know when you're going to absolutely need them. It doesn't cost a huge amount to set up a bag like that. There's loads of guides online, and it's not about preparing for the end of the world. It's just about having basic necessities on you at all times for any, you know, minimal eventualities. Obviously, if the end of the world does come, a little backpack isn't really going to help you out. But for everyday sort of things that you come across, how many times have you gone, I wish I had an Allen key on me, or I wish I had a knife on me, or, oh, you know, you know, I'm stranded out here, I've got no food, I'm really hungry, or I'm really, really thirsty, where's the next petrol station? If you get caught in a situation like a snowdrift, or, you know, some services shut down and you can't make it home, having those basic necessities in there will see you through, you know, at least a day or two of sort of turmoil. So there we go. I know a lot of people, you know, prepping has been a huge topic at the moment, and I just want to sort of give it a scale. You don't need to go to the absolute extreme. You can be, you know, on the lower level and still see you through a lot of eventualities that you otherwise wouldn't be prepared for. So there we go. Again, wanted to clear a few things up. I wanted to talk a bit about prepping in a level-headed sense. Be sensible, guys. Please keep safe, and I wish you all the very best and the best health I really hope that we get through this with as minimal disruption and sort of loss to the world as possible. But thank you very much for watching this video. As I said, there are going to be plenty more to come, hopefully more cheery as well, but you're going to be seeing a lot more of this set up in the future. Let me know also what you're doing to get through the boredom in isolation. Maybe give a few other people that scroll through the comments an idea of what they can do shooting related or not. And also let me know if you prep in any way, shape or form, and what things that you've put in place to, you know, maintain a level of comfort through any sort of turbulent periods within our society. But there we go, guys. Thank you very much for watching this video. I really hope you've enjoyed it. If you did enjoy the video, please hit the thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribed for future content to come. And as always, guys, I hope to see you soon.